Hey Wargamers, Mike here from Epic Duck Studios, and welcome to the Epic Hobbies 4 Epic Minutes. Today I'll be showing you how to make this do-it-yourself miniature holder. All you need to make this is a fence post cap you can pick up at pretty much any hardware store, a wine cork, and a couple tools you probably already have around the house. I'm going to flatten the top of the fence post, and this is actually going to become the bottom of the miniature holder. This line is just a guide, and I'll cut it with a miter saw later. Next, I need to take this metal screw out before I go any further because I'm probably going to injure myself with it otherwise. I just grabbed it with a wrench and it unscrews pretty easily. I've picked up a spare wine cork that I use for holding miniatures and a 3/4 inch spade bit. This is actually going to make a hole that the cork will go into. You can see that the spade bit is just slightly smaller than the cork. This is what I want because I want a little bit of friction so that when I put the cork in, it's going to stay put. Using the hole that the screw came out of, I'm now going to drill a 3/4 inch hole with this spade bit where I'm going to install the cork after. This hole doesn't need to be as deep as the whole cork, but it needs to at least be deep enough that any pins I'm going to put into the cork won't hit the bottom. I've drilled out about 1 inch of the hole here, and I'm just test fitting the cork to make sure it fits in very snugly and won't really move around. Now I'm setting up a miter box so I can make sure I get a nice straight cut taking the bottom off of this holder. This may not line up perfectly with the pencil mark I made earlier, but in hindsight that really wasn't necessary. Now that all the cutting's done, I'm going to take a sanding block and just smooth where I've cut, just so I make sure I don't get any slivers when I'm working with this. I'm also flipping it over and sanding the top edge, just because that's where my hands will be resting most often, and again, I don't want to get any slivers from it. You can really put as much time as you want into smoothing this out and really polishing every surface if you want to, but it's not necessary. Now I'm going to push the cork in all the way and then cut it flush with the top of the holder. I cut the cork flush off camera just using a utility knife. And that's it. I've now got a much larger, sturdier grip for the miniatures I work on. Any miniature that I've got pins in the feet will fit perfectly fine into the cork in the top of this. If I ever need to replace the cork, I can just pull it out using a regular corkscrew. I'd like to thank Aora Studio for the inspiration to make this. You can view his work at facebook.com/aoracast. Thanks again for watching, and as always, do something epic.
Hey, thanks for watching my video. If you liked that one, why don't you check out some battle reports right over here, or check out more epic hobby content right over here. If you really like what I'm doing and want to support my creative efforts, I really urge you to become one of my supporters on Patreon. You can find out more about that right here. Thanks for watching.